Don't sit down. All right, let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. Call the meeting to order.
Is this for me?
If we could. Welcome to the Abington Housing Trust Fund Committee, Affordable, whatever we are. The Housing Trust Fund Committee. Let's pledge allegiance to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, the first item of business, I don't think we have minutes from January 20th, right? Okay, so we're going to table that, and we'll probably have two sets of minutes at our next meeting. Discussion and possible vote of the committee to make a recommendation on 1015 Plymouth Street, a proposed age-restricted housing project. We received an email, I'm pretty sure I forwarded it to all the committee, but it was from Glenn LaPointe Jr. Asking us to maybe take a stand or just to provide us with some information on a project that I know has been in the works for a long time, at least a couple of years, because I know we dealt with it a little bit when I was on the Board of Selectmen. We gave them an easement to go by the senior center, so I know the project, I thought it had stalled, but it looks like it's back again. So rather than me reading this whole thing, because I'm sure you already read it and memorized it, I did invite Mr. LaPointe to come to tonight's meeting. If you want to come up to the microphone and give your address, Glenn, and then maybe just explain a little bit First, talk about the project a little bit, if you could, and we can ask questions, and then what you'd like from us.
Okay. So Glenn LaPointe Jr., I live in Abington, 311 Lincoln Street. So you're right, this project had been going on for a while. It took much longer than I was hoping to get approved. It actually got approved pre-COVID. And then when we started to look at securing financing and if we were going to partner with somebody or whatever, COVID actually hit. So it kind of put the brakes on this thing for the last couple of years. But we do have, it has been approved, it's fully permitted. It's 144 senior units, 62 and over senior units. And what we're trying to do now is, after starting the process back again, we met with a number of different people that are kind of deal with this space, and we're trying to find, somebody that we can partner. We're trying to find financing, and a number of different things came up. One of them was the ratio of 1 to 2 bedroom units, and after talking to a number of different people, we had roughly 2/3 1 bedroom, a third roughly 2 bedroom. We're trying to get that closer to a 50-50 split between 2 bedrooms and 1 bedrooms. So that's a change that we're actually asking the zoning board for on Thursday night. After talking to a number of people, the feedback that we're getting is coming from, a lot of people may be coming from a house, they might be selling something, they don't want to move back into a 1-bedroom apartment. It's too small. They want a second bedroom where they can, set up a craft room or set up a study or something like that. So they want the option of having that. The other thing that we've run into is, as people get older, sometimes if they're married, they may not want to share the same bedroom anymore. So it might be something that gives them an option where, one can sleep in 1 bedroom, the other can sleep in the other bedroom. I honestly didn't consider it at first that it would be an issue. I thought the 1 bedrooms would probably be better, but I think COVID also had a lot to do with that, where I think people were stuck in a small confined space, and I think people realized quickly that a 1-bedroom unit is very small, and they want the option to at least have that second bedroom. So we are going to ask that it's going to be a 50-50 split between 1-bedroom units and 2-bedroom units.
So now, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So that's why you have to go back before is it the
zoning board? Yep.
Because you were approved for your initial, but now you want to switch.
We're going to change it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were in front of them last couple of weeks. We were hoping it was going to be called a small change, and if it's under 10%, then you can just do it administratively and make the change. They took a vote that it was substantial enough that we have to now go back in front of them. So that'll be this coming Thursday.
So you have to start from scratch?
Not from scratch, because the project is approved. Yeah. So the original project is approved. It's fully permitted.
So now they just have to approve the changes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So that's one of the biggest changes that we're going to entertain. The other major change is before we had two separate buildings, and they were connected by basically a bridge on the upper levels. After, again, talking to a number of different people, we're going to combine that into one building, and the center part, instead of it being connected as a bridge, we were going to have traffic that was going to drive through there. We're going to make it like a common area. So connect the two where you can have like telehealth on the first floor, like a bunch of different amenities that, to be honest with you, over the last couple of years have become more and more important. And 2 years ago, they might not have been as thought of or whatever, but they want a meeting area in that area, stuff like that. So we think it's a better design. I wish I had gotten it right on the first try. I think they're hopefully they're positive, changes. We're changing some other things. We're going to put an elevator. It's a building design change. It's going to be closer to the senior center. So the thought would be you can take an elevator down instead of having to walk the length of that building. It'll put you out closer to the senior center. If you want to go over there and utilize the pickleball courts or the senior center. And when we originally did the project, that was the reason in picking this location. I mean, it's literally, it's right next to it. I mean, it's a good location for it. The thought when we first started this was, we knew Abington, we went in as a 40B project. We knew Abington really was lacking in 40B and affordable housing. We figured that after talking to a number of different people, there's everybody brings up lack of senior housing in town. So we thought we could use it as a 40B, use it for a senior-related, aspect of it. And we thought it would be a win-win for the town. It would be something that we could get affordable housing and really not burden the school system, not burden the water and sewer. I thought it was a good project. I was hoping we were going to get more support from the town as we started to bring this through. I mean, I'm still hearing from different, from some of the selectmen that they're talking about other areas where we need affordable housing. We're going to build the affordable housing if we're able to do that. And instead of the town asking the taxpayers to pay for it, it's something that we're willing to do privately. The town can collect revenue, tax revenue. For me, it's a win-win situation, and the senior housing gets built. I just being in town and hearing people. I mean, I know people are concerned already with the taxes going up. I know there's talk about a new fire station. I know there's talk about senior housing. I don't know if all that gets approved with people concerned about tax levels and different things going up. I do think the fire station is definitely going to be something that's probably going to come up first. And where does that put the senior housing? And are people going to stand behind that? And like I said, we're willing to do that privately. There'll be 37 roughly units that'll be affordable out of this project. And we were hoping to. You guys, I don't think were around, right? You're relatively so. When we first started this project, I would have loved to have been able to sit down with you guys and kind of pick your brains and go over this. But for us, it's been a kind of a work in progress. We think we have a pretty good product at this point. We're hoping to move forward with it.
Picking our brains wouldn't take long because we're new at this too.
Well, and I'm frustrated with it because to have to take this back in front of the town right now, honestly, for me, it's a lot of time. It's going to cost a lot more money. Every meeting that I have to go to go through these things,
Can I ask you for 1 second?
Yeah.
Is zoning, would that be your final step, or do you still have other permits?
It's the final step.
Yet?
It's the final step.
It's the final step.
So I mean, if we so choose to build the project that we already have, we could go on the ground tomorrow. I mean, I've secured the water for it, sewer for it, all that. Everything is in place. And like I said, the problem that really happened was when we were really ready to get it going. I got cold feet when the COVID hit, and it was something that the uncertainty of things kind of made us and our company a little bit nervous. So that's why the scuttlebutt of this project kind of stalling out. It did stall out. I mean, it was something that I wasn't ready to get into. My brothers, were involved. My dad's involved, and it was something that I think we were all nervous about. And of course, as we start this again, we obviously enter into a different stage. But it's something that I'd like to get, these changes approved and be able to secure financing and get moving on it.
You said 37 units affordable?
Yep, yep.
Now, is that in the previous plan, or a planned one, or both?
It's going to be both.
Both, so
Yep.
there's
Yep.
already been proof of the 37.
Yeah.
When you say affordable units, do you mean, is it a mix of 1 and 2 bedrooms at 37, or
Yes.
you would decide later on?
I think it's a mix of the 1 and 2. And like I said, for us, if we can get it the 50-50 split, then it'd be a lot easier to to divide those up evenly. I mean, the other hard part was, this project, when it got approved, left the town. I believe the town was 7 units short of its affordable housing quota. The process has been frustrating, to be honest with you guys. I was hoping we were going to get more support from people. I wish that some of the boards communicated more with other boards. I mean, to leave the town 7 units short was disappointing. I mean, would have been a simple request. Can we get that housing quota up to meet, and put Abington in safe harbor? Yeah, no problem. It would have been, something that probably should have been worked out during that. I don't know where that got lost.
I'm wondering if it's possible at this point for that to be accomplished with your development, because we're this close to getting to that point.
I know.
And I know what you're saying. I think some of the different boards and the committees in town, instead of taking a step back and saying, look at, how can we meet this goal? Because that gives us more power and more say as a town what goes into our town.
It would have given you a lot more leverage. A lot more
but
leverage.
I'm wondering now, is it too late to use that as, for instance, 0 Summer Street? That's affordable too, but that's such a huge, massive.
It would have given the town a lot more leverage on a project like that if this had been approved and started. My personal opinion is it would have given the town a lot more leverage to say, yes, we want that, or no. It would give us as a town the ability to say yes or no.
I'm wondering if we would still have that ability if this is bringing us up to.
To be honest with you, I don't think that's something that, it'd be nice. Our goal is to get more affordable housing.
Right.
And this is an affordable housing project.
This is.
So.
Right.
We should focus on this one right now.
Oh, absolutely, but I'm just saying, whereas he was saying.
It is still something we should talk about,
And that's actually the next
because,
agenda item afterwards.
Yeah.
So, something to talk about.
mhm.
Yeah.
So you're saying that if you would increase that to 44 or the 30, if you had,
To be honest with you, I don't even know if they would have all needed to be affordable. But I don't think we wouldn't have been opposed to that.
Okay.
It wouldn't have been something we would have been opposed to. Like I said, the process was a little bit frustrating. I think, especially for my family. I mean, where you're going to deal with some of these other projects. The builders aren't from Abington. They don't care what happens to Abington. I mean, we do business in Abington. My whole family lives in Abington. It was something that we thought was a good project. We thought there was a need for it. We thought it was responsible building, and that's when we proposed it, that was the avenue that we were heading for, and that's what we were hoping to achieve. And like I said, the cohesiveness just didn't seem to be there.
I think part of the problem too is because when you say, oh, we're going to make affordable housing in Abington for the seniors, and they automatically go to the housing authority and think, okay, but when they hear what the rents will be,
Yes.
they don't realize that they're subsidized by the government, and it's based upon your income. Affordable housing units are a completely different animal. And
Yep.
I think we're all learning that now because we're on this board.
Right.
Yep.
And you
Right.
realize it's, if you make less than 80% of the annual income of some household income, that's, if the rent is less than, whatever, it is, if you make less than.
Right, it's
exactly.
the affordable housing, it's like 80%, you make up to 80% of the median income.
Right.
And then some of the more affordable housing, there's like 2 or 3 different levels, it's 60%. And then there's even
Yes.
a lower.
So when you speak of the rents you're gonna be getting, people are like, whoa, but in terms of what people are paying in the other apartments in town, it's a lot cheaper.
Right.
So, and people, it's hard to, and he also, there's a negative connotation sometimes about affordable housing. There isn't for seniors, obviously, it's a different animal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
People don't, that is, because I thought the same thing until I actually learned that, true senior housing is not affordable housing. Affordable housing, a lot of times it's not run by the town, it's not run by the state, it's developments, and it's just,
And this is
Correct.
supposed to have a 62-year-old?
62, yep.
I just had my 62nd birthday last week, so.
I keep giving my old man, I keep telling my father, I'm like, you're gonna be in there too, so.
Board have any other questions, Glenn? About the project and the changes and any questions at all?
no, I think the changes are great. I think the 2-bedroom split is a good,
I wish I got it on the first track. I really do, because we would, we wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be asking again, I'm hoping that when we go to the zoning meeting, it's something that, they see as a favorable change. Like I said, it's not, we've put a lot of time in this over the last couple of years, sitting down with different people, sitting down with different companies that deal with this. There's not a lot of companies that deal in this, 55 and 62. There's not a lot of companies, frankly, even on the East Coast. I mean, we kept getting kicked back to the same companies, and it's an exclusive group, but all of them had similar recommendations. One of them was definitely to add those, to make that, change that bedroom count. So.
And I don't want to ask too much about your funding, but I'm assuming that some of it will be from low-income housing credits and different.
We're going to try that.
All different avenues.
Yeah. So
it's amazing the avenues that are available.
Exactly, and there's a lot of work to try to get at those avenues, to get the funding that's available and take advantage of it. So that's definitely part of the process. I need, now that we're changing this, I need that approval to get those processes started and hopefully be able to work through that.
Now, do you see? It sounds like you haven't got all your funding in place as far as that aspect goes. Do you see that maybe this is just a starting point, and maybe the amount of affordable units in that building could increase if you were to get more funding?
I think it definitely could. Yeah, I think it definitely could.
This would be the minimum amount of affordable.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yep.
And how much did you say it would be?
There's 144 total. So, yeah, like I said, I mean, it's buildable as is. I mean, it's buildable. It would be buildable now if we decided to. But I mean, again, I think some of these changes are going to be, they're worth it. They're worth taking.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they do. I think
Does
they
it
do.
lower your total cost, or does it increase it?
No, but I think it'll help. Make it easier with getting funding. I think that'll definitely be brought. Some of the design, I like the idea of the common area where people can congregate, in a central location. I was hoping originally to use that as the senior center, but people might not want to venture over there. They might want to have something that they can just go downstairs and stay in the same building, especially in the winter.
Everybody has, like, they have their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Well, thank you for the time,
Oh,
guys.
you're not done yet.
Okay.
So what are you looking for from us?
I just wanted to kind of bring you guys up to speed on it. If it's a project that you guys would be in favor of and think would be a positive for the town, a letter of recommendation or anything to the zoning board, or somebody maybe showing up saying that we're a member and we've talked about this, and that would be beneficial, definitely.
I know that a couple of members went last Thursday before the meeting.
right,
Yep, Pam and I were there.
That sounded like it was a quick in and out.
It was quick, and it was
really quick.
the vote was basically just to see if we had to go to a meeting process, or if they could just administratively say these are small enough changes to stamp it and go forward. And the decision was they're big enough changes, so now we will stop the meeting process. And again, hopefully we can keep that shorter than last time.
Hearing what you just said, the original project had the same amount of affordable housing units as the proposed new one has. So I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. How does the board feel about? You know what I'm saying? If we speak or we don't speak, the project's not going to get shut down. They just have to go back to the original. But if we like the new project a lot better, then maybe we should take a vote. Or you don't even need to take a vote. You can speak to the zoning board as a resident, if you want to, or we can, as a board, can take a vote. I'm all in favor of affordable housing. It will help our numbers.
I think we all are, that's why we're doing
That's
this.
why we're doing it.
Yeah.
and I think the changes were beneficial.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I think it's going to keep Abington seniors in Abington who right now are having to move to other places
Yes.
or
Right.
staying in a home that they really can't afford.
That was one of the main concerns. That was one of the main concerns when we first started the project was, there's no way, people are comfortable in Abington. If you've lived, I mean, your bank is in Abington, your grocery store is in Abington, you've been here for a long time. That's what your routine is. And to have to get uprooted now because Abington doesn't have a decent option, it's a shame. It really is,
Thank you for the Trookies plug there, I appreciate it.
But that was the stance that we took when we first and like I said, for us, I mean, you have different stances with the building and all that stuff that goes on, but I mean, building is going to happen, and it's our job to make it responsible building, and if it's something that we think, this for us was a responsible building project, it wasn't something we were just going to go in and throw up and see you later, it was something that, we had thought about for a long time, and, there's a need for it.
So building it is one thing. Now, I'm going to play dumb because I don't know how this works, but now, once it's all built, people are in there, what happens to the building? You guys can sell it, or does someone have to, I mean, it depends on what kind of, I guess, credit you're going to get from the government.
Yeah,
and that's
it does. It does. And truthfully, when it's all said and done, I don't even think, I won't be qualified to manage it.
Right.
You have to have fair housing, all that stuff, in place. So I will have to somebody will have to be hired regardless of who runs this.
Sure.
That's going to be qualified in all
management
those.
company.
Exactly. Yep.
Before we make any motions, does anybody out there in audience land, I know you folks here, I'm not sure what your feelings are, but if you want to come up to the microphone and speak, you can, or if if you're in favor, or if you just want to, you don't have to. I just know this is our first meeting with guests other than Ron. So, I see thumbs up, so I don't think you guys want to talk. You all set? Yeah, you're going to have to get up to the microphone if you do. We good? You want to talk?
wants to say something.
No, honestly, go ahead. No one watches cable anyway, so. You want to say something?
It's not live, nobody would.
I would be interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. If you could just state your name and address and.
Fran Cronin, 458 Summer Street, Abington. We came because we were at the other meeting, the zoning board meeting, where Glenn LaPointe and his family were proposing this, and we thought it was a really good idea. We didn't understand why it had stalled, and so when I saw that you were talking about it tonight and considering the possibility of supporting it, I think the more support, the better, because I think it's a project that's sorely needed in Abington and has so many good things to recommend it, plus a good track record of building in Abington. So I'm just here to suggest that you should take a vote and do some kind of support for this project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. There's a similar project, and Ellen sent us the link, and I think she printed it out, but
Yep.
over in Rockland, they're taking the Holy Family, the school, and converting that, and we can talk about this later, but it does talk about how, I'm not going to find it easy, but this project has garnered letters of support from 9 boards, organizations, and politicians, including the Board of Selectmen and the state representative. So this is the kind of stuff that I think you're looking for, is to garner some support. And that is for basically the same. This has 27 units of affordable housing for people 62 old and older, 63 years old. 19 units would be restricted to those earning 60% of the median income. So, and the remaining 8 units would be restricted to extremely low income. So this is kind of like the same sort of stuff that we're talking about.
Mhm.
So I would entertain a motion from the board, or if you want to.
So we're making a motion to, as a board, to support this project? Or is that what we're looking to do?
Oh, you're making the motion.
Yeah, to support and maybe just provide a letter of support to the next zoning board should one of us not, or any of us not be able to make it.
I'll make a motion to support the LaPointe project at 1015 Plymouth Street.
Go ahead.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion made and seconded. Do we have any further discussion? Just want to leave it like that. We support the project, the amended project, the original project, or the,
We support the amended project. Sorry, I'm secretary tonight too.
you're gonna be writing this letter too, so.
Yeah.
No. Just something nice and simple,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
can do that. We support the amended project that's currently in front of the zoning board.
And maybe just in the letter, I mean, we don't have to make the motion, but we can just include, it follows what we're trying to do in town.
Mhm.
We don't have to talk about how it helps us reach our limit of, maybe we can talk about how, we're on. All right, so we have a motion and a second. No further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So it's a unanimous vote.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Both, too.
See you on Thursday.
All right, so that was interesting. That's actually kind of neat too, though. It's good. And we can take credit for it, so. All right, thank you guys for doing that. Discussion of Abington's Chapter 40B status. So I just put that in there because I know there's been a lot of talk about it, and I was trying to get a clarification. I didn't ask anybody about it, but I did go online today, and I went to the Department of Housing and Community Development, and I got the latest numbers. I'm sure you've probably seen them before, but the problem with these numbers are they're based on the 2010 census year. And we've had the census, 2010 census year. So they are saying that, in the small print, it's saying that by the end of this year, they should have the 2020 census numbers, and then these numbers are gonna, obviously, the housing units are gonna go up. So this 9.9% is gonna drop down, I'm assuming.
You would hope.
Is this the same one that,
That's one I printed out today.
okay, this is the one I have,
Do you have
but,
9.9?
9.9, but it's as of December 21st, 2020.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
So we're at 9.9%. I'm not sure what the middle column means. It says 63, 64 year-round housing units. I would assume most of the housing units are year-round. I don't think anybody vacations in Abington. But anyways, total development units. I'm not sure what that means. If those are in a development or an apartment, I just don't know what that means. But SHI, which is the subsidized housing, is 629. So we are just short of the 10%. And I just looked through it. I was kind of surprised. Rockland is only like 3%.
Yeah, they don't have much
Yeah.
senior housing at all. Or senior, well, they don't even have a lot of senior
Oh,
housing.
yeah. And Whitman too was well below.
Yeah.
Holbrook is above though. But I just thought it was interesting. Not a lot of towns are above the 10%.
no, they're not.
So when we reach that number, we should be proud of ourselves. I didn't really want to talk too much about that, but I just wanted to make everybody know that they're probably going to change the end of this year. So we should try to get over the 10%.
Yeah, and if you take these figures and you work out the percentage, it's literally like
Yeah.
5 or 6 units. It would get us at the 10%. But I just think it gives the
Are you
town.
speaking to your husband? Are you going to build a little development, 10-unit development? So you can, go
No,
over?
no. No, but I'm just saying, I think when you get to that point, like I said, it gives you more power as a town to decide what is
It gives
going
you
to
power
go
not to get
into
stuff
it.
handed to you. You control your own destiny.
Right.
Because they can't come in and say, we're going to do this.
Right, right.
We can still be in favor of more affordable housing, but we
Right.
don't have to have it shut down our throat.
Exactly.
So that's all I wanted. Does anybody else want to talk about 40B at all, in any regard like that? We'll try to keep updated on those numbers, and maybe I'll try to find out when it will be changed. Center School.
I
Go
do
ahead.
have a question.
Yes.
So where Glenn said that if they had increased the number, so this is sort of the same question that Pam has. How can we, since this Zero Summer Street is not yet approved, can Glenn increase his number of units prior to that approval for that project? Or because they've already started the plan for Zero Summer, is it undoable?
I have no idea.
Might be a question to pass along to Liz or Scott to maybe pass along to town council.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Just a thought.
because, yeah,
Maybe if it's already in the works, it might be kind of, I don't know.
I'll do that tomorrow.
Because you would feel bad if you were a developer, you were doing all the work, and all of a sudden they, you're.
True.
In the eighth inning, and they tell you, no, sorry, you get enough units, so you're gonna have to go back and.
yeah, but
Follow the rules.
that development has kind of been in contention for the last couple of years. That this has been going on, but they've been coming back and forth, and just the,
But they are
just the
going, there'll
enormity
be
of it.
some affordable housing units in that development, correct?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's 40B.
So when that happens, then we'll be over 10%, and it will stop other future development. Well, it won't stop other future developments, but it will stop them telling us who it's gonna be.
But it would be nice if we at least had the power or, to say, look, this is too big. It's too big for that space. It's too big for our town. It's going to tax our services. 250-something units, and it's basically almost across the street from Glenn's unit. I mean, you're talking about all kinds of things that is going to affect the town. I mean, to be able to say, look, we're at our 10%. You can put something in there. It could be affordable. But maybe you need to cut it in half and make it, it's not a benefit to our town at this point. It's detrimental to our town, the size of this thing. So, my opinion.
Right, it's also a benefit to the town if we reach the 10%. It's a benefit to the town if we do
Well,
our
yeah,
work.
I mean, if there's no way to stop it, but.
Okay, center school project update and discussion. Now, I just watched the Zoom meeting that Ellen was in and out of.
I still
Pam
haven't seen it.
was there, Pam asked a lot of questions.
Pam had no idea what to do with it on Zoom by myself.
I saw too much of Ron in that video too. I saw her head popping in.
Well, we were trying to get Ellen online, and I was talking to him, and it was, yeah,
It was something that had changed on the computer because I got into it the week before trying it.
yeah.
All right, so,
That's all you saw.
good enough. So that meeting had Liz, Scott, and was it 2 or 3 women, Judy Barrett and Amanda? And was there another woman too?
Yes.
I think there was, I don't know if you're talking about, I don't know who.
I didn't catch who they were.
Okay, and then it had Pam and Ellen a little bit. What did you got to have to give us a rundown. I did watch it today, so what are your thoughts of that meeting? It was quick, 45 minutes.
It was quick.
But it was meant to be quick, it was like an introductory meeting, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I just questioned how fast they were going through, we're gonna be doing this, it's gonna be a walkthrough, there's gonna be this, we'll be putting it out, and I was just like, kind of said, well, we're a little concerned that this is moving so quickly. But then they said that this would just be finding out if it's feasible to even do anything, in
Right.
that space.
Which is,
With that-
which
with
we've
that
been trying to do, which I've been trying to do for several years, so finally, that sounds like that's gonna happen. Because there's another, this is 25,000, maybe I'm wrong, 25,000, and the other 25 is the people that are gonna actually look at the building. Right?
Well,
25,000 services, 25,000 in actual labor and, am I correct on that?
I only have the one with the task.
But they mentioned, and I mean, they mentioned a company that's gonna come in and look at the bones of the building. Right?
I guess that, we want them to get back to us after each task is
Right, but somebody's gonna
is
look,
done.
go in and look at the
Yeah,
building.
there's a walkthrough on Thursday.
And they were planning on having these construction people at that walkthrough also.
Oh, I don't know if it's construction with people, I'm not sure.
I think it's some kind of construction or engineer or something company or firm or something like that.
Let me see.
So it sounds like they want to involve our community in all their, they're gonna have some joint meetings. Instead of 3 different joint meetings, I think they said, and we want to have at least a representative from our community to be at those meetings. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's gonna be, those are gonna start probably approximately 2 weeks after the site visit, which is this week or next week?
It's Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday, so would you guys be able to go to this?
I'm going.
You go to Sydney?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so that'd be good.
You going to the walkthrough?
I'm not.
All right, so the walkthrough is Thursday, I'm assuming 2 weeks after that's gonna be some meetings, in town with all the people that are involved. They mentioned, Scott also. And they want our feedback too, so I have no problem with both of you being able to go to these meetings if they have them. Because two's not a quorum, so it would be a problem. And that way, if, you know, if you can't make it, then you won't feel obligated to get at least 1 or 2 people. That's all right?
Yep.
All right. Any concerns after, now you haven't seen it yet,
No.
okay?
And I have to watch it. I'm gonna watch it
I
tomorrow.
watched it, I really didn't have any concerns, I kind of like the way they filled it out. Said that this is, you might not want to hear this, but we already heard it, but they said this is the more desirable location of the two schools. You know, as far as,
But how did they determine that? That's where the questions are coming out, you
they
know?
seem to say it's within walking distance of the train station,
Mm.
that's what they said.
Yeah.
I brought up at one point about the fire station, now that seems like it might, I don't think it's gonna ever go to no school location, but
No.
it doesn't sound like it's too hip up here anymore. So,
No,
No, it's
down by the highway now, by the police
Housing
station.
Authority unanimously voted to not grant them access.
That's another discussion
Yeah.
for another day, I don't get
Yeah.
that, but,
That's another discussion.
okay, so what do we wanna talk about then? The meeting went okay, she has the
Yeah.
scope of services,
Yeah,
and, oh, no, during that meeting, Scott was saying that he almost has a signed contract from the people that are gonna actually do the inspection of the building itself. He had a name for the developer, it's not the developer, but the engineer or the construction firm. And he said he was really close, and he intended to have it ready, and that they would be able to walk through. There were a few people walking through on Thursday.
okay.
I'll watch it before then.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Please.
I don't remember that. All right.
You
'Cause I know-
Well, you were really trying to help her get online, so you're probably not concentrating.
I know. I mean, we did talk about the fact that North School is also a twin school
Right.
and that this should be able to be transferred, or not transferred, but, you know, the schools are identical.
I was actually yelling at the screen up here about 10 minutes before the meeting because I thought you were at the meeting online, and they were talking about local projects, and they mentioned the Bridgewater School that I had brought up. And I'm going, Ellen, tell them about the Rockland School, tell them about the Rockland School. But that never happened. So, and when you guys, I'm gonna make you put hard hats on Thursday, so can you take pictures, please, so we can post
Yeah,
them on
I'll take
Facebook?
pictures.
So take pictures of you guys in hard hats.
Oh,
Sorry, I was trying to get something. All right.
I was gonna take pictures anyway.
Exactly. So center school project update and discussion. We'll put that on every agenda now too, obviously. You know, we'll try to maybe schedule our meetings around the issues that come up, because they may need some votes, that sort of stuff. I did hear in that meeting though, there is basically a preference for affordable housing and affordable place for seniors and less of a market rate. You know, Scott and basically said it, the commenter said, you know, we prefer not to have market rate, we want to have affordable housing. That's a good thing.
At Center.
Yes, it's that. They asked what, you know, kind of what for. Discussion of, anything else about the center school you want to talk about? And they get the time frame, they expect to be done. And they'll have meetings in the community, they'll have meetings with all the different boards. I think they said the end of April, the end of May, I think they said.
Yeah, and they, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is just to see if things are feasible. Like, you know, they've got this thing as a project, like it's, you know, just all ready to happen, but it really hasn't even,
Who's they?
well, you know, Barrett and town
Well, it sounds to
manager.
me like they were
and,
gonna
you know,
go and see whether
It's just a
There's utilities
feasible.
here that can do it, the structure of the building is good enough to
Yeah.
do it. If the location works, if there's a need for it, I thought that's all the stuff they were gonna do.
Yeah, but they're just gonna see if it's a feasible thing to do. So, they're just gonna, one step at a time.
I will warn the members of the committee that if they come in and say, oh, the school's run down, it's a mess, you're not gonna rebuild it, then you gotta worry about what's gonna happen next.
Mm-hmm.
We as a committee don't have to, but the neighbors would have to worry. You know what I'm saying? Because at some point, the town's gonna have to make a decision, tear it down, and then after that, is the town gonna sell it? Because they seem to be on that, on the selling kick, so.
I can't imagine the town tearing it down because I'm sure there's all kinds of asbestos and
Yeah,
everything in there.
but
There
you
isn't
also-
that much.
It's also a hazard if you leave it there. Look at what happened
Yeah.
with the Griffins deer.
True.
Barn,
It would be a nice recreational space.
But that's a discussion for another board, another time. Discussion of CPA committee's funding recommendation. My understanding is they want to give us $100,000. They haven't given us anything in writing. They don't do a lot of stuff in writing, but that's what I'm understanding. Which is a good start to add to the money that we've gotten from the previous years. Again, it's not all we could get, and I really think that once we start building momentum and doing projects and people realize what we're using the money for, that they'll come back and each year they'll probably increase the amount, I'm hoping so. Which leads me to the last item, discussion of hiring a consultant to formulate Abington's first housing trust fund action plan. It's a mouthful, but I really think, and I've talked about it before, and I put it out when we requested the funds from the CPA. I told them that, I skipped something, didn't I? But anyways, we also talked about, we have a lot of ideas. We have a ton of ideas, more affordable housing, first-time home buyers loan, all different things that we could do, but we don't have any direction, I don't think.
Now, I vaguely remember us talking about it. Did we discuss how much that might cost?
No, that's the problem. My thoughts are, if we have a planner that's been working for us,
Mhm.
which we're starting to get.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe after this project, we
Mhm.
can reach out to her. We probably have to go out to bid anyways and just say,
Right.
what do you think? 'Cause I know she's done
That's
these
right.
action plans for other towns.
Oh, Judy?
Yeah,
Judy
Judy
Barrett,
Barrett?
yes.
So, I mean, she seems to have a connection with the town manager too, I think, from previous, his other town. Not that we have to use her, but we could actually.
No, but
just ask
at
her.
least, find out about putting it out to bid and figuring out how much we need.
Right, and then if we have an action plan, then we can go to the CPA every year and say,
Hey,
this
we
is what
need
we
this.
need, and this is what we need it for. Other than say, right now, the first 2 years, we kind of had pipe dreams. We want to do this, we want to do that. But if we have an action plan, and I've looked at a lot of towns, and that's what they do first. They come up with an action plan, and then it helps them. It also helps them get money from other funding sources too, because it's not just going to be from the CPA funds, that we need
Yeah.
other money to make these projects go.
Now, let me ask you a question. If the town had a planner, would that be a part of what a planner for the town would do?
I think they'd have a little bit of input, but I think this is a different
It
animal.
would be a
Completely different.
A different
Right,
thing?
This is just like a little,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
minuscule part of the whole planning process. 'Cause we've already got the town already has a housing plan in place as to
Right.
what's required.
Yep.
And a lot of our stuff from the beginning was based upon that. I'm sure whoever does our housing trust fund action plan is gonna use that data.
As a model.
Where it says, well, look how short they are in affordable housing, look how short they are for senior housing, that sort of stuff, so. Anybody else want to talk about that a little bit, are we good?
No.
But I think that one of our first priorities, as soon as we get these funds, and as soon as maybe this project is done,
Yeah.
is to look at hiring a consultant to do that. I put down annual town report discussion, of course, I didn't do anything about it, but, we're supposed to have an annual, they asked if we wanted to put an annual town report in, which is all good, but it's doing tomorrow, so. I forgot when I put it on the agenda, so I don't know if we have an annual town report. I could just ask Liz to throw some, see if she would mind, just throwing some stuff. She is the town, she's the planning secretary of the town, so. But I could ask her if she could just throw some stuff together. We really don't have much to add yet,
No.
except for these, she could toot her own horn by talking about the grants that received. I don't know, anything else anybody wants to talk about? All right, so if sorry with the board, I'm gonna ask her to try. If she can't get it done, we just won't have anything in the email town report, it's not the end of the world. You know, it isn't. But we'll just list the members and.
I mean, it could just be, like you said, just kind of an introduction to the,
If I had done my job, I would have.
To the-
I could have,
to the committee, and you know, I haven't been together that
because I don't know
long.
I don't know if there was one in last year's town report. I didn't do one, so I don't know if there was one in last. Because we should probably just use the whole, our mission statement and everything like that, so. We ought to be up late tonight working on that, so. And I'll get that to the board. Anything else anybody want to discuss? I did promise to circle back to this. The Rockland, 1 year Rockland, this is a project too that is still not executed. It's a good idea. I know people get frustrated, you know, Mr. LaPointe was a little frustrated with the time it takes to do these projects, but this is a project that's taken a long time. The school closed in 2018. Somebody, Developers LLC, Conley and Partners, bought the school building in 2020.
They had a retraction of that in the paper a couple days later, so the PNS
Oh.
isn't done yet. I think it's all pending the
Okay,
project being approved.
that makes sense. So once it's approved, they will go by it. The project's called Schoolhouse Apartments, appeared before the Zoning Board of Appeals earlier this week. Turned the former school into 27 units of affordable housing for people 62 and older. So 19 of those affordable housing units would be restricted to those earning 60% of the median income, and the remaining 8 would be restricted to extremely low income people who earn 28,000 or less. This proposed under the state's 40B law, which allows developers to skirt loan. So these guys can have a lot more leniency because they're going in. Rockland is even close to their 10%. You know, but it sounds like they're a friendly. The term is friendly 40B because it sounds like if they have approval from all the selectmen, they probably work with these groups to work on the number because they could probably do a lot more units. The Abington Joint Waterworks will allow the project to use city warehouse. Apartments will cost $11.1 million to build. Yes. Much of the exterior of the building needs to stay the same for the project to get state and federal historical building tax credits. Now that's something that's not going to come into play for Mr. LaPointe's, but it could come into play for the school. That's what it came into play for the Bridgewater project too, because that used all 3 phases of the CPA funds. It used the historical, used the recreation because they built the playground there and built in the housing money. So, the building will get an elevator. I like this cool. It says existing fabric of the school, including the library, chalkboards, coat closets, and other, once the school would remain. So that's kind of a neat thing. So that's probably the historic. They're probably going to get some historical funds for that. So I just don't want to. I just want to touch upon that people are doing this. During that, here's a little anecdote in that Zoom meeting. They talked about how 20 years ago they were closing down schools left and right, rebuilding. And the whole school was an example in Whitman. But then it says, but then the population went back up and they had to build new schools again. So that's that sort of stuff going on. So I really don't have much else to say. I'm not very good at, I will be honest with you, as you can tell, my computer work, I can't do Zoom. I'm pretty much at my desk, so I appreciate you guys being able to go around and do this. So thank you.
Happy to do it.
We'll look at a calendar, unless we just want to wait and see what happens of the, why don't we,
We did schedule it for the second Tuesday.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming that these guys, after they do the walkthrough, are gonna plan a meeting.
Right.
You know, so we want to maybe make it so it's that, if it's gonna be a meeting, well, they're probably gonna meet in the afternoon.
Right, now we have April 12th as our next meeting.
All right, then I'm gonna ask for a big favor from Ellen or Pam. You wanna go and get that locked in? reserve a room and get it posted for the meeting. And I'll do the agenda.
Oh, for the next
Before.
meeting?
Yeah, just let them know, to post a meeting for April 12th.
Okay, I'll
Is
do
that
that.
all right? Yeah, just talk to them, they'll post the meeting, they'll reserve a room. At least that way, we'll have the meeting posted, and I'll get an agenda the week before. And if there's anything you want to talk about, please, let me know, and we'll put it on the
Okay.
agenda, okay? The more we talk about, the better, Get to those, and we're basically free to talk about other things, but we just can't vote or anything. That's on the agenda, so. And honestly, I know, Elle, you sent this to me, you're concerned about, you can send stuff to other board members if you want, just put at the bottom, don't respond back to me.
Okay.
You can't tell each other different things, but if you want to send something to somebody, don't say, what's your opinion on this, please email me.
Right.
You can't do that, but if
Just
you
as an
if it's
informational thing, I could have
information,
sent
you
it.
can feel
Okay.
free to send it to the other board members.
Okay.
Does anybody have anything else they want to discuss, or any questions? Anybody in the audience want to add anything? Any of you guys? No? Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Motion is made and seconded. Any further discussion? There is no discussion on the motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous vote.